Party Llama is the party. Party Llama brings the party. Party Llama dramatically enhances the party. Please do not use Party Llama if you are allergic to the following: having a good time, increased heart rate, not being a total lame wad, enjoying your life to the fullest, parasailing from the back of a yacht. Please consult a doctor if you do not develop a cool attitude. Use as directed.
Hey guys!
Hey guys!
Welcome to our last YouTube live stream of our midweek.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's very sad, isn't it?
It is very sad and very weird. Can you believe it's already June?
No, I know, right? Doesn't feel like it. Well, the weather does feel like it's June. But
It has been very summery, or getting there at least.
yeah, but it's been a weird time. And I just wanted to say that we are so glad that we have been able to be on this crazy, wild ride of midweek with you guys. It's been a great blessing to us. I hope that it's been a great encouragement and a great blessing to you guys as well. So we're going to start off with some announcements. First one is that, yes, we just said it. Tonight is our last midweek, and we will end at 7:45 as usual, around there. Yes, sometimes we do go over. But we will not have small groups afterwards, so sad face, I know, but so glad that we've been able to have them until now. And yeah, next announcement we have, as always, is to check out our action series that is continuing to be posted on YouTube. We have just a couple weeks left of our James series, unfortunately, but if you haven't had a chance, please take some time to go listen in to Kyle and myself as we try our best to deliver God's word. But that is all the announcements that we have. Oh, wait, no, I forgot the biggest announcement, which I don't have the slide for. No, I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot. This is the biggest announcement because next week we are going to have a midweek celebration. No, we will not be on YouTube, but
even better,
we will be in the parking lot.
all of us.
Yes.
Who is able to come.
Of course, of course. Whatever your family and you're comfortable with, we are going to do our best to gather together once again after it's been a few months. But we're going to have a movie going on here at TCC in the parking lot. Okay, guys? So that's going to be
a drive-in movie viewing experience right here next to Bradford.
Yes.
Not here.
Right.
Over there.
In the parking lot, socially distant, divided by cones, very safe, very distant gathering together. That's going to be June 7th. Is that correct? No.
No, on Wednesday?
Yeah.
June 10th.
June 10th, thank you. There are so many things going on. June 10th, we're going to have a movie night at TCC at 8 p.m. June 10th at 8 p.m. And what is the movie?
Has it been decided yet?
No. We don't even know what movie we're going to watch.
Put in the chat your guesses, and if you get it right, you will win nothing. But you will get to say that you predicted the future.
Hey, that sounds like a good idea. So, sorry, June 10th, not June 7th. I'm getting my dates mixed up. Wednesday.
But at the normal midweek time, or maybe later for the sun to go down so we can watch.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So a little later than normal midweek time.
Yeah.
But in replace of normal midweek time. We're making this more confusing than it needs to be. Midweek, drive-in movie, celebration, socially distant, safe gathering.
Yep.
Next Wednesday evening, June 10th.
June 10th, 8 p.m., parking lot at TCC. Come enjoy a socially distant movie. Bring your own food, bring your own drink, bring your own mask. Okay, guys? We want to have
share
fun.
masks. Don't bring masks for somebody else.
No, because you won't be close enough to
Defeats
give
the
to
purpose.
Them. Yes, absolutely. So, sorry, I forgot the beautifully decorated slide for that announcement, and we butchered it. But be there, please. So that is actually the end of our announcements.
Isn't there one more?
Oh, yeah. All right, guys, one more announcement. All right. So I just want to let you guys know that we're continuing to accept donations to our Guatemala GoFundMe created by Kyle. We have passed the 400 mark, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Is amazing, and it feeds the families that we're supporting for quite a few months. So If you haven't had a chance, go ahead and donate. $5, $10, $30 will feed an entire family for an entire month. So would really encourage you guys to use the money that you would on a video game or on a new outfit. Starbucks, Chipotle, you name it. Go and donate, and we'll put the link in the comment box. Okay, guys? Probably a little bit later, but it'll be there.
It'll be there.
Yeah. So we're about to jump into our game, and the winner from last week is Alex Liu.
Woo!
Congratulations, Alex.
Congrats.
You deserve it. So this is our game, guys. You ready? Because I'm so ready. It is called
Face
Booty.
Awesome.
Summer edition.
Woo!
Yeah. So next slide, we've got some instructions. So you're going to watch these clips, and you're going to see if you can guess if someone gets hit in the face, falls on their booty, or is flat out awesome. All right? They're quite an odd array of options, but just kind of like our other video type games that we've done, what you're going to do is you're going to write the answer that you're going to guess in the chat with the number of the round. So first round, number 1, face. Booty, or awesome. Yeah. Everybody get it? Got it. I can't hear you, so I hope you get it. And if you don't, put it in the chat.
You guys are all professionals at this kind of stuff by now.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, without further ado, let's get into the first round.
All right. We've got this guy going on, jumping on the trampoline. Looks like anything could happen at this point, honestly. Sorry, we turned off the sound to the videos because they were quite interesting, and we got our own music, don't worry.
Yeah.
So, number 1, what is this guy gonna do? Is he gonna face plant? Is he gonna booty plant? Or is it gonna be awesome?
It's tough to say. There's not a lot of context here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like a 2-second video, he's just jumping. Yeah.
But usually when you see a video of someone jumping on a trampoline on the internet, it's probably not going to end well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen a good end to a video that starts out like this. You know what I mean?
All right, guys, what's going to happen?
All right.
Guesses are coming in.
Round 1.
Nice.
Face.
Face.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Look at
All
that.
right.
Quite a face plant, too.
And right into the cool water. That would have been nice today, honestly.
It might have been. It might have also been painful, but who knows?
Yeah, I've fallen off a trampoline before, and it is not fun.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Number 2.
All right.
Ooh, surfing.
Yeah, something I am not good at whatsoever.
I have never
done
tried.
it. No, I'm just kidding. I've never done it. It seems
I'd be
extremely
kind of surprised.
hard.
Yeah, it seems like something you really have to take a long time to learn how to do. Doesn't seem like you can just kind of casually surf.
No, absolutely not.
Do people even really surf, like, on the East Coast? I feel like that's a West Coast thing, like a California,
you just know California
beach
dude.
thing.
You have like long curly hair, super tan.
Like
Abercrombie
every
Fitch.
time I've gone to the beach in like New Jersey or like North Carolina, I don't think I've ever seen anybody surfing. You know what I mean?
It's like a southern thing though. I think I've seen them in Florida surfing.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All
is
right.
this a face booty or awesome surf? It's tough to say, but that's what you have to do.
All right, let's see, guys.
Oof.
Yikes and a half.
Oh, the
man.
spikes too.
Oh man,
Ouch.
that does not look like it's felt good in
I
any
bet-
sense of the word.
Yeah, I think that felt very, very bad.
Oh goodness. Yikes. All right, guys. So maybe be careful if you're out there surfing.
All right,
round
moving
3.
on to round 3.
All right.
What is this? Royal Flush? What does that even mean?
Oh, dude, it's like a mega
Is that
slide,
a slide?
into the lake. And there are like 2 options, it seems like. So you can take the. Well, there are 3 sides.
The
Oh,
Royal,
it's like a small.
medium, and large.
Yeah. Oh,
I guess
boy.
the large one is the Royal Flush.
It's just like poker.
Yeah, we were just playing. Nobody got a Royal Flush though.
No. Oh no, that looks like a lot of fun. Would you do that?
I'm gonna wait to answer that until I see how this ends, because depending on how this ends up for this person, might influence whether or not I feel excited about going off of this slide. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would absolutely do that.
All right,
guys.
Moving on to the answer for the royal flush. Ooh,
that just hurts.
Yeah, my back hurts now just from watching that happen.
Yikes.
I would probably, that being said, not want to go off of this slide. Maybe the small one. The small one would be fun, but
if you did a cannonball,
it'd be better.
I don't know what she was thinking.
Maybe you kind of asked
like
for
the
it.
back of her legs would probably be permanently red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
All right.
Not really. No. Not a good time. Like anyway.
Round 4, guys.
4.
Another surfing dude, man.
Well, he's not surfing.
Oh, what's that called?
A boogie board. I love going to the ocean and riding those in the waves.
Yeah?
Those are. Have you ever done it?
Would you do that now? Or is that more like a thing that you do when you're kids?
I don't know. I mean, I would do it, but I also like doing it without a boogie board and just kind of like riding the waves. Just like letting them push you.
Yeah.
You know?
Like feel the breeze in your hair.
Well, now I actually can because I got a nice haircut.
I don't know if any of you guys noticed. Someone got their haircut finally. Oh yeah, who got their haircut, by the way? I want to know.
It's true. Barber's reopening was one of the greatest things I've ever experienced, I feel like.
That's a little unfortunate, Lucas, given our wedding. But that's okay, guys. Don't worry.
All right, number 4. Face, booty, or awesome? Oh, yeah. That'll do it.
There it goes. Oh, man. It's
Yikes.
like scraping against the sand.
Because it's the wet sand. It's not a cushion.
Man.
Just like...
Look at that. And he's about to land on him.
I think the plan was for him to jump over him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
I'm mesmerized.
All right.
Yeah, he was
Sorry, guys. Face.
Wow.
All right. Number 5. A lot of water.
Again, this looks fun, but I hesitate to say that I would.
No, that's really scary. And the incline looks like he would like flip and hit his face on that edge.
Like the back of his head.
Yeah. Oh. Guys, that stuff gives me chills. Like riding a bike also gives me chills because I get so scared that I'm gonna get scraped.
Scraped?
Yeah.
Like if you fall on the concrete.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a huge fear of mine to scrape myself on the concrete. You guys have probably had like those bad bike falls.
I just feel like there's more important things to be scared about falling off a bike than scrapes.
Yeah, probably.
Like breaking a bone.
Oh, no, that doesn't scare me. But like scraping yourself on the concrete, like doing a front flip off your... Ooh, yeah. Okay, let's see the answer. Because I am nervous. Alright, guys. Face clear.
So he did do a flip, like you were saying.
Whoa.
But he landed it.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. What are the odds of that coolness factor happening?
I don't know. I don't know how many attempts they had before. How many people fell onto the ramp or splashed in the water.
All right, round 6, guys.
6. Let's get ready.
Did you do it?
Did I do it?
All right. Another surfing, guys. I don't know. The other one was a fail. So what do you think?
I don't know. Would they trick us and do 2 fails, or trick us? They know that we think they would trick us, so they would still put in a non-fail one.
What have they been so far? So we haven't seen any booties yet.
Yeah, we did the royal flush.
Oh, that's
the big
right.
slide.
Yikes. Okay, so it's been pretty even so far.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty evenly spread. Not a ton of awesome stuff, but honestly, with internet videos of people doing crazy things,
the odds are...
What do you expect?
Yeah, right. All right, guys, let's see.
All right. Oh, he's doing some spin moves.
Yeah.
Wow.
He looked like he was gonna land that. Also, where is he? Because that water is gorgeous.
It's very blue.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Man, I want to go to the beach now from these videos.
I went to the beach today,
That's
guys.
the takeaway.
It's very empty. Yeah. It was nice.
In these times,
They're open. Everybody was 6 feet apart. Don't hate.
but it was not very crowded.
No, it was so empty. It was beautiful weather. It was a good beach day, guys.
Nice.
All right, number 7. Oh, what a baby cakes. He's so small. Can you imagine being that small and being on that surfboard?
It looks like a surfboard.
Like all these videos are of a surfboard.
It's true. Well, it is summer edition, so it's got to be water themed.
Of course, that's right. That's
Mishaps.
summer edition, Space Booty Awesome.
Or some mishaps, some not so mishaps, as we've learned.
And you're so right. Look at the background. Look at the palm trees. This is totally like a West Coast thing we got going
Yeah,
on here.
this isn't Revere Beach or the Cape or
Yeah.
North Carolina,
No.
Rocky Islands, whatever.
And whoever's baby is going to be on a surfboard
Yeah.
at like 2 years old is going to be from California.
Yeah, especially look at that hair. It's so
Change
cool.
my mind. All right, guys, what's the answer?
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
man.
and
That's
I
it.
was just saying how hard surfing looks.
Yeah. Well, you got to learn when you're young.
Yeah, I guess it's true. In order to get as good as the people we're looking at, you got to start
You got to start
now, or not now, but now.
All right, guys, round 8. All right, we got this little kid jumping
Oh,
into something.
man.
Who knows what?
You can kind of see. I think I can kind of see where this is going when you see a wet deck
Oh, yeah.
or a wet what do you call it? You go to a pool, the concrete next to the pool.
Yeah.
When that's wet, or a deck, or like a dock.
He's about to have some fun, though.
Well, he's trying to. We'll see if he actually
He's
does.
so ready. He's got his, what is this called?
Floaties?
His floaties
that
and
what
his
it is?
goggles on and swim trunks.
Seems like a fun summer day.
Yeah. No,
I don't know.
I'm kind of jealous of this young fellow.
Well,
maybe I won't be.
Yeah, let's withhold judgment until we finish this round. But
All
is
right,
this going to
guys.
be a face, booty, or awesome?
Oh, that hurt me. Oh,
Oh,
he
man.
was so excited.
He was pretty close too. He just jumped a little bit too soon.
If that were my kid, I would have to try so hard to not laugh.
I probably would.
I
mean,
feel
look
so
at it.
bad. Yeah. Oh, that's
Oof.
such
At least
a
he
hard
didn't
hit.
slip on the deck like I was expecting.
Yeah, that would have
That
been,
would've
really
been
bad.
pretty-
Can you imagine the splinters?
Oof.
Yeah. No.
Wow.
All right, guys. This is the last round. Round 9.
Final round 9. Another
Alright.
pool one.
Yeah, this
or I
does
say
not
another
look like-
pool one. Is this the first actual pool? There's been a lot of water themed, but I don't think any pools yet.
Well, that was a pool. The one just
Oh,
before this
duh.
one. So.
That's right, I was there.
Okay. That's all right. Yeah, this guy. Maybe it's a trick. They're like, oh, don't worry, he's gonna pull off something super awesome.
Yeah, maybe he's a professional diver and he's practicing in his home pool.
He looks kind of nervous. Not gonna lie.
Have you ever jumped off a diving board? Like like a board and jumped off and
Yeah, it was so fun. The YMCA in my old town had a huge one that dove into a 14 or 16 feet deep pool.
Whoa.
You would dive in and go all the way and touch the bottom and come back up. But it would hurt my ears.
Yeah, I was gonna say my ears are hurting just
oh,
thinking
it was
about it.
so deep. It was so cool.
Wow.
But you had to have passed the test, and you were given a wristband if you were an advanced swimmer.
Did you pass the test?
Yes, barely. Guys, I cannot swim.
Apparently you're advanced.
Barely. Don't worry. I was just dying the whole time. All right, guys, what's gonna happen with this young fellow?
Let's see
All right,
here.
let's see. He does look kind of nervous.
I feel like the diving board isn't sticking out over the water as much as I would expect it to.
I feel like he's gonna slip. Oh!
Oof. That's exactly.
I mean, his footing was just not that great. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Right there. You can kind of see it. It's coming.
Oh, yikes and a half, my dude.
Man.
All right.
Hope that was enlightening of what not to do during the summer when you're at the beach or at the pool.
Yeah. Does anybody that's listening surf? Because
That'd be a great question.
yeah, I don't know. Is it hard? Does anybody know? No.
I think it's hard. I'm going to stick with it looks really hard.
Yeah.
I don't think those videos change my mind about that.
Yeah, it looks like an absolute challenge. So
Definitely.
maybe you guys will make it to the beach once parents allow and the state allows. But as we segue into our discussion, that's a great time because I want to know what you're looking forward to as things start to open up. Is the beach one of them?
After watching all those beach videos, now it is. But I've been thinking, like, it seems like a small thing, especially because I feel like we've been eating out, honestly, more than before all of this in terms of getting takeout or delivery.
Yeah.
But so it feels weird to say that I'm looking forward to eating at a restaurant because every day I feel like almost every day
I even get like take
get
out.
something from a restaurant or a coffee shop.
This
or
is like the
something.
only thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Or go to the grocery store.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to eating at a restaurant and eating inside at a restaurant at a table with a waiter and all that. And I think part of that too is just not feeling so cooped up, not feeling so restricted because knowing that everything's closed, it kind of is it makes things feel smaller. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh,
But I feel
yeah.
like going into a restaurant, it'll just really like hit me like, oh, things are open again.
Oh
So,
yeah. No.
I don't know.
think yeah.
Kind
same.
of a weird philosophical answer, but
All right. Yeah, I think I too am just looking forward to getting out to eat. And we want to know what you guys are looking forward to too. So comment what is the first thing that you plan to do when you're parents and you can safely get out of the house and do something. But things are going to change soon,
Yeah.
maybe in a month, maybe in a few months. We
Eventually.
will hopefully get back to a somewhat normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
these past 7 weeks, we have discussed faith hacks.
That's not 7 weeks of online midweek.
No.
That's 7 weeks of the series on faith hacks.
Yes. Okay.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, keep that in perspective. 7 weeks of faith hacks. We've talked about prayer, silence, Bible study, and service. And so I wanted to begin today's discussion with a question. What is going to be different after this crisis for you guys? And how has this time changed you? So for some of you, it's probably been a very difficult time. I don't know if any of you have lost a loved one, haven't been able to go to their funeral, or if you missed the birth of a sibling or a cousin, a nephew, a niece. I don't know. Some of you might be nephews and nieces. I don't know how old your siblings are.
Graduations or like parties like that, either for you or for family members or friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that may have been very difficult for some of you. And maybe even seeing a parent lose a job. Like, it's almost countless. But on the other side, there's some of you who have actually had a really good time. Like, your schoolwork has lessened and you've had more time to do reading or play some video games. So there's like a large, long spectrum of where you could be at. It could have been a very difficult time for you, and we just wanted to say that we are sorry if it has been, and you guys know we are always praying for you. And for some of you, might have been a really relaxing time, but
Or somewhere in between.
yeah, it might have been both hard and fun.
Yeah.
But all of us have been through this, and I want us all to think about what it is that God might be teaching us through this time. What are the lessons that you guys have learned these past months being in quarantine, being stuck at home? And what's so funny is that during midweek now, we have dug into the Bible like we have never done before, because this hasn't been the format of midweek. We've been playing games and just discussing the Sunday sermon, but this is a whole new series. These are whole new discussions that we've been having. It's been a perfect season to hear from God's word. So we're going to bring up a Bible verse really quickly. This is Romans 8:28. And go ahead. You want to read it?
Sure. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose.
So this scripture passage right here is teaching us the principle that God is always going to be at work. If we allow him, he's going to consistently and constantly for the rest of our lives be shaping us into who he sees us to be and what he wants for our lives. And so as this quarantine continues and as we think about getting back into normalcy, I don't want us to waste this time that God has given us. A question I want to ask is, what if this season was the beginning of something amazing that God had in store for you? The season has kind of allowed us to declutter, in a sense. We're not going to school. We might not be doing our extracurricular activities. We probably have had a lot of time on our hands. So what's going to happen when we get back to regular life? Are we going to clutter our lives again, right? And so we want you guys to start thinking about, what is life going to be like when we get back to normal, right?
Right. Yeah. And I know things have been so different. And, you know, like in the chat, Jamie, you said that you started to read the Bible more. And that's amazing. And that's exactly what the Faith Hacks series was all about. It's building those habits. And that's what we sort of wanted to talk about with all this is things are going to get back to normal, or at least they're going to open up again, and things might not feel normal for a while because we're used to this not normal quarantine life now. But one thing that I think everyone has, to some degree, except for maybe Kyle, experienced is a lot more time, you know, because even if you're still doing school every day, you're probably not spending, you know, what's school, 8 to 2 or 7 to 2 or 8 to 3.
A huge portion of the day.
Most of the day you're at school normally. So now, even though you still have assignments, you still have homework, you're still doing school, you have a lot more time in the day. You can't go, you know, do your extracurriculars that you would normally be doing. So you have all that time. And all of that time is an opportunity, among other things, to grow in our relationship with Jesus. Read the Bible more. You start practicing and trying out these different faith hack habits. And whether it's reading the Bible, using silence or meditation, prayer, music, worship, we've been able to learn together during this portion of the midweek streaming schedule a lot of different habits and disciplines that God teaches us and gives to us to focus ourselves on him and in our faith. And I think that along with losing our normalcy and losing all of our normal schedule, we've also been reminded, some of us firsthand, like we were talking about, maybe some of us not as much, but I think we've all been able to realize and learn that things in life can be taken away from us really quickly and unexpectedly, and even things that don't feel like they could ever be taken away from us can. And that's kind of scary, that's kind of unsettling, and sad. But even as those things are true, even as that reality, you know, has been shown to us by all of the hardships that are going on in the world right now, our relationship with Jesus, even in a pandemic, even with even worse pandemics than this, if, you know, hopefully that never happens, but even if it did, nothing can take away our relationship with Jesus. Nothing can take away our connection with God. And I don't know if you've noticed this in your own life, but it's definitely hard to hear God's voice when our lives are cluttered. Forcing everybody to stay at home and kind of forcing us to declutter our lives, even just a little bit, kind of reminds us and shows us, like, oh, there's a lot going on in my life. Some good, some bad.
All the distractions are gone.
Even neutral things that are just distractions. Homework, extracurriculars, those things we've already mentioned. Different events and parties. Maybe you get dragged to your siblings' soccer games, and maybe you're not thrilled about it, but that's still something you have to do on the weekends. Those are all, you know, good things. There's nothing wrong with school. That's very important and a good thing. There's nothing wrong with soccer or playing an instrument and being devoted to and spending time to that. Those are all great things. The issue is sometimes we get so cluttered, we fill up all of our time, we fill our lives with so much going on that we're just distracted, like you said, and Jesus ends up just taking a back seat, not because we're like, oh, I don't like Jesus, get back there, but just because we get distracted and busy. And, you know, big shocker, there's actually a Bible story that talks exactly about this. And that's the story of Martha that we see in a few verses in the 10th chapter of Luke. So I'm going to go ahead and read, or would you like to read these?
Sure. I'll read a couple of these verses. So the first two verses that we're jumping into are Luke 10:38 and 39. So this will set the story. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." So that's the first portion.
So notice Martha is frazzled. She's distracted by all the preparations that she needed to do to host Jesus and his disciples. So remember, that's a good thing. She's trying to be a good host. She has guests coming into her home. She wants to make sure the house is clean, dinner's getting made, there's snacks out on the living room table, everyone has drinks that they want.
Like, imagine your parents getting ready to host for somebody coming over to your house.
Right. You're going to vacuum. You're going to dust. You're going to, if they're spending the night, you're going to make sure that they have clean sheets and a place to sleep and that all the towels are clean and that there's plenty of, like hand soap in the bathroom, and maybe like everything is like the towels folded all fancy, you know. I don't know how you guys prepare for guests. I don't do that, but I just feel like
is that what you think
that's
that
what
happens?
I think of it. So those are all good things, you know, because she's doing them to serve her guests. But she's distracted by those things. It's pushing her or it's pushing everything else out of her mind. She doesn't even have time to sit and talk to Jesus. Or listen to Jesus. So she's become cluttered and distracted. And then Jesus responds to her in a way that is a really strong teaching moment, not only for Martha, but because Luke wrote it in his gospel, we get to learn from it too. So you want to finish up?
Yes, I would love to. So Jesus says, "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her."
So Mary's sitting there listening to Jesus' teaching. Martha's running around trying to get all the responsibilities done. And Jesus says to Martha that Mary chose what is better. He's not downplaying the importance of doing what needs to be done. He's not saying you shouldn't be a good host. He's not saying you shouldn't try hard in school. He's not saying you shouldn't be committed to your to practicing your musical instrument, or fill in the blank. And he's not even saying you have to pick one of those things. He's not saying those things are bad or not important. What he's saying is that there's something that's more important. There's something that's most important, which is knowing God personally. He says that's the only thing that's necessary. It's really, really important for us, because it's so easy to get cluttered and distracted, to fill our lives with the faith hacks. Not because it's cool things that we came up with that we want you to do to be more like us, but because what those things do, reading the Bible, praying, centering our mind with meditation or worship music, being silent with God, serving others out of the love that Jesus has given us, those are things that focus our attention on that most important thing. Focus our attention on knowing God personally and walking with him day by day. And that's what Jesus wants us to learn, and what wanted I got their names mixed up. wanted Martha to learn, to be more like Mary, not because doing what needs to be done is bad, but because before any of that, we need to be knowing God.
Right. So, yeah, in this story, we're going to be wanting to imitate Mary, who was at Jesus' feet, and realize the importance of that. So a question that we have for you at this point is, as things start to open up, what is going to fill your schedule? What is going to be that clutter that might seep into your life? Are we going to be prioritizing the faith hacks, the spiritual habits that we've learned? Are we going to be prioritizing sitting at the feet of Jesus, reading his word? Are we going to practice worshiping God through music? Or are we going to be replacing those things with something else?
Right.
And so another verse we're going to bring in real quick is a Psalm 90:12. And Lucas, would you like to read it?
Sure. Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom.
Teach us our number of days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. So this first part of the verse, very short, but it's saying that our days are fixed. They're brief. They're but for a moment.
We only have so much time to fill.
Yeah, and that time is also uncertain. And so we want our days to count for Jesus. And in order to do that, we need to remember that, yeah, our days are fixed. And there will be a point where we're no longer here. So what are we going to commit our lives to? What's going to be our top priority? What's going to be important to us? And a good reminder as we continue to go on and start opening up to normalcy in the state and going to camp, maybe going back to school. Every time you say yes to something, remember that you're going to be saying no to something else. And a heart of wisdom, like it says in the verse, is going to be sensitive to what is important to God. A heart of wisdom is going to be sensitive to what God wants. And that's going to push us to do what God is calling us to do and to form our schedules and our lives around what's important to him. So, spoiler alert, a lot of the faith hacks that we have learned all revolve around Jesus and take time. They all take time. So, if you commit to certain opportunities or experiences, what other experiences are you going to miss out on? If you commit to playing violin or cello for 3 hours a day, every day, and go to school, and play volleyball, and play soccer, and be in honors classes, is that going to clutter your life in a way that pushes Jesus out? It's a real question to ask. In this next season, as life opens back up, guys, we want to encourage you, and we need this encouragement just as much as you do, to avoid what's going to clutter our lives so much that we can't hear from God. We want to avoid the things that are going to take our eyes off of Jesus. And of course, we're excited. We're excited to get back to normalcy. I'm excited to go out to eat at a restaurant. But let's be the people that don't compromise our relationship with God for everything else, right? Because like he said in Psalm 90, our heart of wisdom is going to focus on what's important to God. And that is never going to fail you, ever. I can promise you that.
Right.
So how can we learn not to waste this crisis, right? That was the title of our session today. Don't waste this crisis. Well, we can trust in God's scripture. We can trust that these faith hacks that God wants us to commit our time to are worth the time. We can trust that, okay, if we don't get that extra hour of studying in, or if we don't get that extra practice of basketball in, that's going to be okay, because we're choosing to dedicate that time to pursuing Christ and living in our relationship with him. So, are we going to live like we trust him, and are we going to continue to implement the faith hacks that we've learned over these last few months? So, guys, we're just encouraging you, keep diving into these faith hacks.
Yeah.
Let's remember to worship God through music. Let's keep cultivating our prayer life, and let's protect our time every single day to sit at our Savior's feet through the Word.
Definitely.
Anyone want to respond?
No, just I think it's really going to be important. I know for me, I can already see this even in just this week, even the importance of making it a priority, like telling myself that it's a priority to use these faith hacks and to use my time in a way that centers on God. And, you know, it might be kind of overwhelming for us to say, hey, use these faith hacks. Maybe you're like, well, it's been 7 weeks. That's a long time. A lot has changed. A lot has been going on. And I think something we wanted to remind you about, which you probably knew and you probably already know, but it's, you know, it helps to be reminded, is all of our midweek streams have been recorded, and they're up on YouTube after on the TCC Student Ministries page after the sessions are over.
Unfortunately, you're going to have to see Lucas's really long hair if you go back, but it's worth it, I promise.
Which just, the only reason we say that is if you're like, man, I remember we learned about prayer, but I don't really remember what we talked about, or I don't really remember like a good place to start. You can go back and relive that midweek. You could even play the game again if you want. But you can see and re-listen to all of these in order to remind yourself all of the different faith hacks, to help keep them in your mind in a way that we prevent the clutter from coming back in. Not because being busy is bad, not because doing things for school or family or a job or fill in the blank is bad, but because none of those things on their own do anything for us if we don't have that relationship with God. And you're probably going to find a lot more joy, peace, and satisfaction in your instruments and your sports and your school and your family and your games and friends and movies and TV when you have a foundation of that connection with God. I know I do.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a reminder too, guys, it's okay if you go time reading that you forgot to read the Bible. God is a God of love and forgiveness, and this is not a push to get you to practice these things every single day or else. That's not how God works. Remember, He's a God of love, and these are things that will help us to grow in our love for Him. It's not a to-do list. So remember that. It's not a to-do list. It's just a way to love God and to hear from Him and to receive His help as we navigate this crazy thing called life.
Yeah.
You know, none of us expected coronavirus. You know, you never know what can happen, and God's there to help you guys. He doesn't want our excellence and our achievements. He just wants our attention. All right, guys.
Yeah.
So can't believe this is the last one. It's been a crazy time, but it's been absolutely wonderful to join with you guys every week.
Thank you so much for if you've tuned in every week. If you've tuned in, this is your first week tuning in. It's been a really cool thing to get to do these, even though we can't be together meeting
absolutely
like you normally would.
No, absolutely. And so, really quick reminder, I know I said there are no small groups, and there are no small groups except for the 6th grade boys. You will continue to meet today with your leaders. So 6th grade boys, if you do not know that already, please feel free to contact Kyle or get in touch with your leaders in order to get into that meeting. But for everybody else, there is no small groups. So sorry I left that off earlier. But excited to see everybody next week. I hope you guys can make it to our movie Wednesday the 10th at 8 p.m. TCC parking lot. Bring your foods, bring your drinks, bring your mask. And just thank you guys for an awesome time. So we'll catch you later.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Simply following the man. Hey, I try to tell him not to